Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the North American Star Team League. Today is day number 4, and we are in the second game right now. We have Quantic versus Liquid, and it looks like the players will be AGH versus Hero. Now, Liquid is off to a 1-0 start. They had a very quick finish with their Korean pro, Zenio. And we also have another Korean pro over here, Liquid Hero, probably one of the strongest Protosses in the entire scene right now.
Yeah, Hero is insanely good. He won DreamHack Winter, and then just a week later, he got second place at the NASL Season 2 finals in a really, really crazy series against Puma. Puma did take that down 4-2 and become a repeat champion, but Hero just played amazingly well throughout the entire event. I mean, this guy is probably one of the best Protoss players in the world.
Yes.
Just kind of, it seems like he just hasn't really had as much success in Korean events like the GSL for whatever reason. I know it's been written quite a bit that he has some sort of nerve issues, and I think for some reason that gets to him in the GSL, but in foreign events, he's just been absolutely amazing for quite a few months now.
And what does that say about nerves in the foreign scene, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah.
I mean,
but there are so many Koreans that play in foreign events.
That's true. Hero has like strokes of brilliance all over the place, but we normally see that in PvZ and PvT for him, in my opinion.
Right.
PvP, I just haven't seen this to be his best matchup by any means. I think it's actually his weakest matchup. And the reason why I say that is because in a lot of tournaments, I know in MLGs, he's had the most trouble with PvPs. Like, I feel like he always falls in PvPs, whereas PvZs, PvTs, he just smashes face. I mean, especially his against Zerg.
Yeah, definitely. His PvZ is absolutely phenomenal. And yeah, I mean, even at the NASL Season 2 finals, in the first round against Wangson, Wangson gave him quite a bit of trouble. Even though Hero won that 3-1, the games were not easy by any stretch of the
Exactly. And I think it lends... It just... Hero hasn't found that type of low volatility type of opening or type of play that gets him consistent wins like we so often see, with maybe Huck. His PvP is pretty consistent, and that might just be his superior micro or whatever it might be, but you have things like that, and it just might be Hero's weakness at this point.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, Hero's strength, is that he relies on harassment quite a bit in PvZ and PvT. Like, he goes warp prisms. He does a lot of, I don't want to say abusive, but he basically is really harass-oriented player. So he basically harasses the other player and then relies on his superior multitasking abilities.
Yeah.
But in PvP games, they often don't get to the point because there's so many 4 gates, there's so many, 3-gate robo play. You don't really get to a point where Hero can really play to his strengths. And I think that's kind of why he seems to struggle in PvP.
It comes into like build orders and timings, army compositions, rather than multitasking, things like that. And not saying Hero's bad at them by any means, but it's for your opponent, it might be a lot easier to get an army composition rather than to multitask 10 different places at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, just like any professional player in any sport, I mean, every pro player in a sport has his own strengths and weaknesses, but he's going to be a million times better than your average Joe at everything.
Sure.
So I mean, Hero's an amazing player, but let's talk about the builds. Og is actually going for
a Stargate.
2-gate
Stargate. He did this in the open qualifiers and had a lot of success. He actually did it on a Daybreak instead of this map, and he completely, I believe, did he smash his opponent? No, he lost. But the Phoenixes did do a lot of damage at that point. He just needs to be a little careful with them. He can consistently harass his opponent, and it could be some sort of sick all-in, but what we saw from him, he went to Stargate opening, and then he went to Robo. Because a lot of times when you do go Stargate, you can be build order countered by Dark Templar, so you have to be a little bit more careful. And there's a natural push progression. You can get Immortals out, and it's very deadly.
Definitely, and we see the first Phoenix is getting chrono boosted out from AGH. Hero is going for a Twilight Council, and I actually like this, especially if he's planning on going Blink, which I can only assume that he is. And there's that Robo from Og, as you mentioned earlier. But I think, you know, getting 3 or 4 gate Blink from Hero is a very good counter to what Og is doing, because Blink Stalkers are going to help Hero not have to worry about his mineral line so much, because really what you want to do with Phoenixes is A, go after the opponent's mineral line if you can, and B, just keep him in his base, because if you're facing an opponent who has Phoenixes, moving out is going to be really dangerous for you unless you feel very confident in your attack force. And that will allow Og a lot of time to build up, you know, his own Stalker and Immortal Force to deal with Hero. So that's really what he's trying to do with the Phoenixes. But Blink does a really good job of sort of mitigating that advantage that Phoenixes have.
Definitely, and hopefully he can take advantage of that. Blink is underway right now. He will push out with 3 Phoenixes, so we will have a little bit of time, maybe 2? Okay, last time he pushed out with 3. I don't know about 2 right now, but oh, an Observer will just fly on over and see the Phoenixes directly, so we should have the Stalkers pushing back all the way. What AGH wants to really target on is going to be the probes and the not the observers, the sentries at this point. He wants to target both of those down to make sure, you know, obviously sentries, one of the best support support units in the game. So if you can pick those off, obviously it's a very big win. A lot of gas dumped into that.
One Stalker does get taken out for free from Og, and not bad there. Hero, I just want to point out the income tab. Hero has a significant income advantage. And it looks like he's going to go for an expansion.
Well, he has a significant Harvester advantage, but you can see it is it's pretty heavily saturated. I think he's almost oversaturated, but that's what you want to get at, because you're going up against Phoenixes.
Yep.
And you're just going to expect your opponent to actually thrash your economy. You can see that it is just about 1 probe oversaturated, and when you're at complete saturation is let me go ahead and check it out, is when this is full. You have full 24 probes on your minerals. Right. You can see it goes into the 2, and we have 3 extra ones right now. So you can see just a little bit of oversaturation, but that is the correct move, in my opinion, against this type of not Blink Stalker, against this type of Phoenix opening.
Definitely, and I really think that Hero's build is just so strong. If you look at the army tab, I mean, they basically have Hero actually has more army, more income than AGH right now, and I think Hero just executed his build very, very well, and he pretty much countered Og's wins, and it seems like just 2 straight games in which the Liquid players just kind of build order, our build order winning right here.
And here we go. Hero might be blinking up. Yes, he goes and blinks up. Targets down the Cybernetics Core. AGH is in a lot of trouble at this point, because if you lose Cybernetics Core, obviously he cannot produce any sentries or stalkers. He's just going to blink back. He doesn't want any more trouble there. Of course, you can be picked up very easily, and then his own stalkers, Og's stalkers, can just really tear his opponent's stalkers apart, and blink is mitigated.
Yep, and what I really love about what Hero's doing right now is he's taking his expansion behind the Saras, and it's, you know, he's really, again, he's gotten to a point where he can utilize his mobility advantage, and he blinks into the main, and it looks like he's going to be able to take out 1 Phoenix, and he's probably going to get that Cybernetics Core, which he does. He is going to lose 3 Stalkers, it seems like, but yeah, he got everything he needed to get out of that.
Wow. See, now that's the thing. Is it worth it to do 4 Stalkers for a single Cybernetics Core? That's what you have to ask yourself. And maybe not, because remember, all he has to produce is Zealots and Immortals. Zealots and Immortals against something like Blink Stalker is pretty good. I mean, it's not the best. You want your own Stalkers for sure, but when you're going this army composition, you don't really have to get a ton of Stalkers. I would have loved him to pick that off. Obviously, the Cybernetics Core, I would have loved him to pick it off, but for all of that, maybe not. 4 Stalkers is a pretty hefty price to be paying.
It is. I think what Hero is really banking on was that Og would not go for a counterattack, but he is. Because I think Hero, if he just waits a minute when he gets that 5-gate set up, and this is exactly what Hero needs. He's just buying time for these 3 more gateways to finish. Because if he gets 1 really good warp in, he will have enough units to stop this attack. And then the lack of stalkers from Og is really going to come into play. But Og is really pushing the issue right now, and this is his timing window. He has to do a lot of damage right now with those 4 mortals. If he doesn't, he's going to be in a lot of trouble.
Man.
And Hero is kind of fumbling right here, and this is looking pretty good for Og. now 5 Immortals, and I'm really not sure Hero has enough to handle this. If you look at the army tab, Og has a significant advantage. Plus, he has those 3 Phoenixes.
Oh my god, and he's actually going directly up into the main.
And oh no, 2 Immortals are out of position. Og really needs to micro this better.
That's what he needs to do. Get those. Oh my god, the Immortals cannot die like that.
Yeah, 1 Immortal fell to Zealots, and this is not good. Hero is going in for a really, really nice flank. Og really needs to control this a little bit better, and I think he still has a chance, but Hero is just microing this very well. And wow, that was...
The Immortals are finally going to go down. That is the power hitting units. Now, Hero can kite all day long with Blink and, of course, just the regular Stalker ability. The Phoenixes are under attack at this point. He's losing all the Phoenixes. AGH is going to die. GG comes out. Team Liquid will take it 2-0 over Quantic.
Yep.
A really, really nice display of micro, I think, in that and decision making in that particular point. I want to mention that I think AGH or Og, he was in a really, really great position in my opinion.
He was.
He could have pushed up into the main. There's a lot of different abilities, but number one, he didn't bring any probes, so he couldn't actually start warping in, anywhere close to his army.
Right.
And number two, he split up his Immortals. I think if he didn't do those, he would have been in a much better position. Obviously, he could have gone down the ramp or something, and or up the ramp and started force fielding. Only made so that you're going against something like Blink Stalkers, because obviously Zealots are on the bottom ramp. You have to.
Did he have a sentry? Did Og have a sentry
Yeah,
in the army?
he did.
I think he did,
He
right?
did have a sentry in his
he could
army.
have gone up the ramp and then force fielded it, and he
Exactly.
probably would have won the game at that point.
It's debatable because the probes can still be pulled off, things like that. But he would actually, like, I think, balance it out.
Right.
If anything, and all you have to do is go behind like a gateway, go behind a position where it's really hard to get a great huge concave, and all of a sudden, you're in a winning position, or you're in even position, whatever it might be. As long as you keep those Phoenixes alive, I think that would have been instrumental in winning the game. But Og just barely losing out.
Yeah,
I think in this particular game, and
that's one of those
Liquid
games where you'll just watch the replay afterwards, or even even before you watch the replay, I'm sure he was just like, I should have moved those Immortals up the ramp. Yeah.
Well, there are a lot of different things probably he could have done at that point, but keep them together at least. Keep them together.
Yep.
But AGH knows that, I know for sure. Anyway, we're going to go into our third game. Team Liquid is up 2-0. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be back after this break.